Hello, and welcome to Adventures with Grandma Bonnie. Today, I'm going to share a true story about life at a remote off grid home near Topaz Lake, Nevada. The elevation was about 6,000 feet. That's a mile high, guys. We had 40 acres of undeveloped land covered in sage brush with a few small pinyon pine trees. In other words, it was pretty barren. We relied heavily on an old golf cart as we cleared portions of the land to drill a well, install a windmill, plant trees and a small experimental vineyard, and eventually build our house. It was actually our dream come true. We carried tools and equipment from one end of our parcel to the other in that golf cart. I actually don't know what we would have done without that golf cart. Are you ready to hear the story of the golf cart? Watch the video all the way to the end. You never know what is going to happen. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It's free. Let's get started. It was a beautiful sunny morning when I first saw him in that dirt lot at a golf cart repair shop just outside of Reno. Reno is in Nevada. He looked forgotten and pretty worn down, but as the saying goes, he looked like he had good bones. There he sat, looking quite abandoned, with faded white paint and one flat tire. It was kind of sad to see him, actually. It was as if he was calling my name, and I kind of fell in love with him at first sight. This little old forgotten golf cart just might do the trick for our need to get around and get our work done out on our new homestead. We had been looking for some kind of vehicle to help us with our 40 acres of remote high desert property for such a long time. It seemed there were always chores to do around the place, besides moving watering hoses and chasing snakes away. Ooh, that was my favorite thing to do. Walking around such a large piece of land and carrying rakes, shovels, and hoses was exhausting. A little tractor would have been perfect, but was not in our budget. So, when we drove by that lot the following week and he was still sitting there, all by himself and lonely looking, I had pretty much decided he might fit our needs. Ray was on board with the idea of a well-used golf cart if we could somehow negotiate a low price. I honestly don't remember what we ended up paying for him, but it couldn't have been more than a couple of $100. What a bargain we got! He was a gas engine powered 1985 Easy Go golf cart and had a lot of spunk. You know what spunk is? Get up and go spunk. Kind of low to the ground, but with a few new tires and a place to put our tools in the back, we were delighted to adopt him. Ray became an expert, and I mean an expert, at keeping him running, and together we both fell in love with the ease this new family member offered us to get our chores done and have fun too. In the summertime, when the sun was so intense, we could jump in him and take a little ride up the canyon along the river. It was always cooler up there and a great place to explore. You never knew what you were going to run into. Sometimes we packed a few sandwiches and had a picnic in the canyon, always hoping to see a deer or an eagle flying high in the sky. Of course, there was always a chance encounter with a bear. Ooh, but we were quite sure the golf cart would make enough noise to scare any bear in the area. Our life in the country was always exciting. Since we traveled much of the time to work, we never had any pets. After all, we couldn't leave a dog or a cat at home alone for weeks on end, and taking them along would be more than difficult. This is when I decided to name our golf cart Maynard. He was like our pet, but didn't need water or food, only gas. Well, I guess gas would be considered food, but you didn't need gas until you used them. And an occasional repair was always needed. We would simply park him in the back 40 and know he was safe no matter what kind of weather or threat. And did we have the weather? The wind would howl and just like hurricane force. So we knew we needed to have something that wasn't going to blow away. We once even had our barbecue blow off our deck. It was that horrific sometimes. After being gone for a long work trip, we always checked for critters that might have taken up residency before we started him up. We found that mice, rats, or even rabbits loved to chew on wires and rubber hoses. By the way, they did this to our car too. If you had a car sitting there for a long time, you better check under the hood. Once we found a rabbit under the hood. Oh, that would have been terrible to have started that up. My biggest concern was that there might be a snake hanging out in Maynard. So we were always very careful, checking all the small spaces to be sure we were safe. I wouldn't have wanted to have a little snake or a big snake squirming out of a little crevice, and I'd have jumped out of Maynard at that point, I tell you. Even if he was going, which, by the way, if you took your foot off the gas pedal, he would stop. So that was a pretty good safety feature. So back to the story. My biggest concern was the snakes, though. I remember one time we had our boat and trailer parked in the clearing behind the house. It was parked there all winter through summer, sitting in the weeds, dirt, rain, and snow. It had been such a busy year, we just didn't have time to take it out on the local lake. That would be Topaz Lake. One day, Ray went to check it out. I guess he was thinking about maybe going on the lake. He didn't find any snakes, but was surprised to see that the boat was filled with rocks and sticks. I mean, it was just jam-packed. Now, who or what could have done that? Rabbits? Mice? Rats? What do you think? What do you think would climb in a boat and put rocks in there, big rocks? Our dear Maynard was a trusty old friend, always willing to try anything, including entertaining all the grandkids. Kendra and Kristen, who came often to spend many days visiting us in the summer, loved Maynard too. As young girls, they would often race to see who would get to drive him. In those hot summer months, we girls would spend our afternoons on the front porch coloring or playing games. In the evening, we would go for a ride in Maynard, excited to see what critters were out and about. It seemed that we always saw rabbits, quail, snakes, and amazing hawks and eagles on those evening excursions. You know what the word excursion means. It means outings. Sometimes our older grandson, Duran, our only grandson, by the way, and his sister Chelsea, who lived about 3 hours away, would join us. There is nothing better than all your grandchildren playing together. I hope it made wonderful memories for all of them. This is when we decided Maynard needed to be spiffed up, kind of cleaned up. I happened to have some spray paint left over from an arts and crafts project. The color was cotton candy pink. I had a bedroom that color too, by the way. You had to put sunglasses on just to walk in that room. It was bright and beautiful. Thank you. Okay, you guessed it. We painted Maynard pink. He looked so cute, and I think he ran better than ever with that new paint job. All the kids drove Maynard at one time or another, and the rule was don't go any farther on the road or on the land than you can walk back. That was a serious rule, by the way, because if you went too far, we wouldn't know where you were at, couldn't see you. You couldn't walk back. We'd just have to go out and look for you. Maynard was good, but sometimes we all did push him too far. By the way, if he broke down or ran out of gas, you did have to push him all the way home. Let me tell you, pushing that golf cart uphill was a job. Duran won the award for getting Maynard stuck. Seems Maynard was good on our flat dirt road, but not so good in deep snow. If Duran had only kept him on the road, there would have been no problem, as it was very flat. But I forgot to tell him to stay out of the snowbank along the road. It's a good thing he didn't get far, but we all had to push and pull Maynard for over an hour to get him unstuck. Wow, that was a job. So whether it was snake hunting or racing Maynard around the backyard, everyone loved to drive Maynard. They even loved to get him unstuck. As I look back on those days when we lived in our little house in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, I have such great memories of our adventures. Quiet moments with just Ray and I sitting on the porch watching the sunset over the majestic mountains. The colder months were maybe my favorite. Watching the snow fall as I sat in my comfy chair just next to the wood-burning stove and all bundled up drinking my first cup of coffee. Have you ever noticed that when it's real foggy or cold outside or raining, that you won't have many people stopping by or things are going on? Have you ever noticed how those are really special days? Days to maybe read a book, do some chores in the house, but it's really kind of nice to have that quiet. So this was my time, planning for the day I would look forward to eventually pulling on my boots and getting ready for stacking wood or shoveling snow off the deck. If it was spring, I would plan on weeding and checking water lines. Oh, and that's when I usually ran into a snake. Snakes like to come out when just the same time I did. When the sun was out, the heat would be warming up the sand and the dirt, and they'd be sunbathing. So I wouldn't want to surprise them too much. And when I would check my water, maybe they were even getting a drink of water and wrapped around that tree trunk. I had plenty of stories to tell you about snakes. Don't forget to remind me to tell you about the one in the basement. That's another story. So I would go out and check the water lines. All of this was with the help of Maynard. I loved to work and get things done. This brought such peace to me. This is where I would sometimes talk to my God, and I knew he heard me. In the silence, I believe I heard him in a gentle whisper as the wind blew gently across the valley. Sometimes the wind was so strong I had to run in the house and hunker down. Guess he was really trying to get my attention that day. Maynard was later joined by an old Yamaha golf cart we called Juanita. She wasn't near as cute as Maynard. Really, she wasn't. She was big and jacked up off the ground and all that stuff. And I don't know, I always just loved Maynard. When we needed a more reliable utility vehicle, we purchased a brand new John Deere Gator. We just called him Gator. That Gator could actually, it had a dump truck little thing behind it, and you could dump weeds out into the wherever you wanted them, or rocks. He was a real wonderful thing to have, and started all the time. Do you talk to God? Do you call him or her something else? Maybe you speak quietly in your heart and don't need to talk out loud. Maybe you talk to Mother Nature, or the moon, or the stars, or the giant hawk that catches the thermal winds on his afternoon hunt. There are many ways to feel the need to believe in something bigger than us, and I believe we each have our own path to follow. I believe in that location at that time in my life. I believe I did find my God, and he did listen to me. I hope you can find a place like that. Take a moment and be still. Listen to what is around you. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Do you hear it? I think it's something like peace, and we all need it. Smile and be happy. Maybe you'll find Maynard to help you in this life's journey. Maybe, who knows? Just keep looking. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Now, what can you get that's free? Hardly anything. The air, peace and quiet, maybe. Love, always. Check out the playlist and watch some of our other videos. See you later, and bye for now. Have a great day. Bye-bye.